This meeting of the Oak Park City Council is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our city clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor McClellan. Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Here.
Councilmember Sellickson.
Here.
Councilmember Burns.
Here.
Councilmember Speech.
Okay, the mayor is continuing her visit out west. We do have to be read in the record a statement from Council Member Speech on her absence. I believe that Councilman Sellickson has that right there, and he'll be able to read it to you.
I'll read, and please in the, I will read it in, but please put it in quotations because this is what she asked to be read into the record. Council member Speech is absent due to a prior scheduled medical procedure. She requests she couldn't make it to tonight's meeting. However, she wants you to know that she will be fine. She plans to be back and enjoying our lovely city, the Cool Arts and Culture Commission's music in the park events this month, and gearing up for Summerfest coming in August. Exclamation mark, end of quotations.
Okay. We are permitted to give an excused absence for cases of sickness and bereavement. This is a request to excuse Councilman Speech's absence because of sickness. We need to take a vote.
Discussion first.
Okay, we don't need to need a motion for that? We need a motion to excuse Councilman Speech's absence.
I'll make a motion for the purpose of discussion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, and now, any comments or discussion?
I don't understand the statement. I don't understand if it qualifies or doesn't qualify, and therefore, I can't really say one way or the other. I mean, there's not enough information there for me to vote, or to vote positively on that issue. So if we get more information, I may vote positively.
Okay, Councilwoman Burns, do you have any comments about?
Well, my only comment would be that we need to adhere to our rules for absence and excused and unexcused absences to the letter.
Okay, and my reading is that we were requested to give an excused absence for a medical reason. We can take a vote.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Councilmember Sellickson.
This may be the first or second time in 24 years on council that I will abstain for not having enough information, but I will abstain for not having enough information. I can't make a decision based on what I've got.
I don't believe that by our rules you can abstain on a vote. You have to vote.
In that case, I'll have to vote no. In that case, at this point, I'll have to vote no. If I get further information, we can take a vote another time, another meeting, and then I might vote yes, given enough information.
Okay, motion carries 2-1. We have the approval of the agenda. I have two items with permission of council to remove from the agenda. Items 15D and 15E, we do not have 4 members to take a vote on property sales and purchases, so we will be deleting that from the agenda tonight. The amended agenda, we need an approval. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the two?
The two that we're taking off are items 15D and 15E.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, with that, we have our consent agenda. The following routine items are presented to City Council approval without discussion as a single agenda item, and should any council member wish to discuss or disapprove of any item, it must be dropped from the blanket motion of approval and considered as a separate item. These are the items in our consent agenda tonight. Our special council meeting minutes of July 6th, 2015, regular council meeting minutes of July 6th, 2015, A request to advertise for bids for the 2015 sewer lighting project M623. A resolution for an agreement to assign the City of Oak Park's wholesale customer water service contract from the City of Detroit Water and Sewage Department to the Great Lakes Water Authority, and to authorize the mayor, city manager, and city clerk to sign the contract on behalf of the city upon final approval from the city attorney's office. Item E, the payment of application 6, the final payment to CSM Mechanical for the 2014 water reservoir pumping station improvements, project M614, for a total amount of $26,036.64. I don't have this here. I believe that money is coming out of the Water and Sewer Fund, yes. Thank you. And finally, the licenses new and renewal is submitted for July 20th, 2015. And unless somebody would like to pull an item from that agenda, need a motion to vote to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, we continue. I don't see any officials, any of our visiting elected officials in the audience. I apologize if I'm missing anybody, but it seems that we do not have any special presentations tonight. We go to public hearings. The first public hearing is the adoption of a resolution to establish an obsolete property rehabilitation district for parcels 52, 25, 19, 33, 26, 017, and parcels 52, 25, 19, 301, 012, otherwise known as Providence Green Apartments. Just to give a background to this, to be able to meet the requirements of an obsolete property rehabilitation district, we have to first determine that this area is blighted property based on provisions in the Brownfields Act. Basically, we're looking at this being a public nuisance or a fire hazard, and we have our Director Maroney here to be able to give everybody some background.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council members. We have an investor that is looking to purchase the Providence Green Apartments that have been severely blighted for many years now. They are less than 30% occupied at this time, and many of the units are uninhabitable to allow tenants into them. They actually have a wait list to have tenants in them, but cannot get them up and running in order for us to put tenants into them. The potential investor is planning to purchase the property for over $15 million and invest an additional $7.1 million into rehabilitating the property. Rehabilitation would begin immediately upon them taking ownership, which would begin August 10th tentatively, and they would initially begin on improvements along the Greenfield corridor there to improve the actual landscaping area to make it look more presentable, and then tackling it from the Greenfield side on the way in, and then also from Lincoln on the way in. The renovation plans will take approximately 29 months. Once they get up and running, they plan to turn 4 new units per week in order to get them fully occupied. And their improvements include the new landscaping, pool renovations, new boilers, new roofs, new windows, updated lighting, new carpet and paint throughout, new kitchen cabinets, counters, and sinks. They will eventually submit an application that will have more detail at that time. We anticipate getting that within the next week or so and having it at the next City Council meeting for approval.
Okay, I believe that our city manager would like to make a few comments.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. Director Maroney, we're not going to talk specifics about the project because we're only setting up the district for which the project resides.
Yes.
Okay. I think I see them here.
We do have representatives.
Okay, do we want to give them an opportunity to come up and share a little bit, or are we
Do you want to make
observing?
that part of the public hearing portion or not? That was my only question.
I think that would be good to introduce the public hearing, and then we
Okay.
can have anyone from the audience speak as part of the public. So I invite up our representatives who are here from Peak Management of Troy, Michigan.
Thanks for having us this evening and allowing us to speak on behalf of the investment team. We're missing one of our investors here tonight who couldn't make it, but we wanted to have the opportunity to explain what our plan is at the project and how we're going to attack it systematically, and the dollars that we're going to invest to improve the property, improve the surrounding area, and make the property safer for the public. One of the biggest issues that we face right now is safety, and making that property a safer area in terms of people walking, people visiting, and just the surrounding neighborhood needs to be, the area itself, or the project itself, needs to have certain items that are invested into to do that, like such as doors that lock at all times up front, better lighting, better access, making sure all the fencing and everything's up to code, and you know, keeping the property in a condition that is like the properties around it. This property itself is well located. It doesn't need anything more than dollars invested, and part of the reason why we're seeking the Oprah is to help offset the economic challenges of the large investment that is needed to bring this property back to the state it was once in years ago. If there's any questions specific to the project itself, Bob Lenz is a partner here. He's happy to give you any details, as he's been you know, dealing with the contract vendors and trying to iron out all the costs to make sure that we're able to do this within budget. So if there's any questions with respect to the project at this time, happy to talk about anything.
Okay, with your permission, I'd like to call you back after the public hearing, and perhaps we'll have some questions on the floor and that you'll be able to address.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Our city manager has additional comment, right?
I'm gonna wait till they come back.
You can wait till they come back. Okay, then I'm going to open this up as a public hearing. Each of you has 3 minutes up to 3 minutes to speak, and we'd like to hear from residents, people who have an interest in the area, who might be in the audience. I declare the public hearing open. So please approach the front of and state your name and address. We'd like to hear from you.
Good evening. I hope I'm at the right time. I'm with the Optimist Club of Oak Park, and I came to let council and other members of the city, citizens, know that we are here in town. It has come to our attention, excuse me, that we're one of the well-kept secrets in town. Yes.
I'm sorry to cut you off. This is a public hearing specifically to the Providence Green Apartments.
Okay.
We will be able to call you back at the end of the meeting for our call to audience, okay? But thank you. Do we have anyone who'd like to speak to the Providence Green Apartments and the proposed adoption of oh gosh, I'm sorry. The proposed adoption of declaring the area as an obsolete property. District, yes, thank you.
And if I could,
If we don't have any other comments, I'm going to close the public hearing section, and we'll have our city manager make a comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Gentlemen, I have a couple of comments on behalf of the administration, which I am very fond of, by the way. One is, in our previous discussion, I wanted to make sure that we were in agreement that your contingency for the project would be doubled. And we discussed that your contingency you presented was about $500,000, and you agreed to double that contingency going into the project. The second thing, and I don't know that I voiced this or had an opportunity to do so at the work session, but it would be, obviously the timeline is, a longer timeline than anyone would like. I'm sure you too. But that would be something that I would very much like to see expedited. And then lastly, and this I think, and I'm gonna say so much that I speak on behalf of City Council even when I make these comments, but Oak Park is no different than a lot of communities around here in the sense that we've been burned by the Michigan Tax Tribunal process, and properties like this one who have appealed their taxes for a number of years. This property, and I'm only gonna pick on one parcel of this property, was paying around $358,000 in taxes in the 2009 summer tax bill. Because of the appeals that have been made to the Michigan Tax Tribunal, this property is now slated as of the 2015 summer tax bill to pay about $198,000. What I would very much like to see is that if city council were to approve the district and then ultimately your application, is that you would agree not to appeal the taxes that exist on this property so that our community can get back to where we were in 2009. That's a couple $100,000 or so difference in one of our largest taxpayers, believe it or not. I wanted to voice those concerns, and I'll wrap that up.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, can we get all the concerns from anybody on council here? Let's first start at this end. If anybody on council would like to voice any concerns or questions. Yes, Councilwoman Burns.
I believe in the presentation we listened to a couple of weeks ago, I just wanted some clarity on having controlled access to the property. That was something that we discussed, but I don't recall us getting a direct answer to that question. And also, can you speak on the caliber of the tenants, meaning the tenant process for the new property?
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Burns. I would like to express one request that I have personally in this project that I didn't see. I drove through the complex. It's amazing that they started patching up roofs, but they started neglecting windows. There's a lot of windows out, and there's a lot of boarded up places throughout the complex. But what I did note is that this complex is, even dressing it up and restoring it, is still units that have single unit air conditioners in back rooms, that some of which are like 40 years old. And if we're really talking about bringing this up to market value and making this a venture that's going to attract a wider range of tenants and be a benefit to the community, I'm requesting that you put into your proposal putting in split air conditioning units so that these units can be air conditioned. And I understand that can be done for a lot less than central air, but is effective at being able to provide that so that more people be attracted to be in those units, and some type of plan to phase that in. That's my request. Okay. Would you like to approach and kind of?
All right, I'll just go in order if that's okay.
I expressed my concerns when we had the meeting.
Very good. So let me just go through them. Contingency. We have increased our contingency per your request based on our last meeting. So that is in our budget. Timeline. You know, one of the things that I am big on is under promising and over delivering. So I'm committed to 29 months. I'm committed to getting through the process. I'm committing to having a full set of cabinets, appliances, carpet, paint delivered daily for 2.5 years and staying on track. As you suggested, it would behoove all of us to move faster, and I will do everything that I can because it behooves us just as well as it does the city. We met with several of your building department officials, and they're extremely supportive. But they're going to play a role as well in making sure that all these apartments are approved and ready for housing in the city. So I'm not going to commit to faster than 29, but I definitely understand where you're coming from. And if all goes well, we will both be ahead of schedule by the end of this project. And for taxes, you know, when we analyze this project, it's a little daunting. It's a very, very large property and a very large capital improvement budget and a very large timeline, so lots of things can go well or poorly. But our understanding was that if we could get the taxes to just hold, that would give us the benefit to put the money in and take the chances. So our understanding is that if we could just hold them, we would be happy, and our deal would work very, very well. So we have no intention to appeal. How we formally commit to doing that with you, we can discuss that, but our intention is not to appeal the taxes any further, and we could certainly commit to doing that. Very, very, very pleased with your assistance at the level that we're discussing with the Oprah presentation. So thank you. Controlled access, the current plan today, in fact, we had meetings on it this afternoon, is not to have controlled access as far as gates. For a myriad of reasons, several people that work for me have had complexes, communities in the past that have had gates, and there's a whole set of pluses and minuses with gates, but what we have committed to after meeting with your public safety department is to have security. So we will have security guards on site to work with the residents in case there's any issues after hours, patrol the grounds, work with public safety for any issues that may come up in the evening or weekends. And that was seemed to be a very good solution as we talked through it with your public safety crew. And the caliber of the tenant, we check every tenant that comes in the door for a myriad of ways. The first is income. They have to have income in order to meet the rental rates. That's a standard for every resident that comes in the door. All these apply equally.
Should be noted, these are market rate units. So
True.
there isn't any subsidies that we're looking for there. We're just looking to do market rate. So every tenant needs to meet the same criteria that Peak Management carries across the, how many units that you currently?
3,000.
3,000 units that they currently manage.
We do criminal background check through the state of Michigan, every potential resident. Any felonies would automatically disqualify you from residency. And we do a credit history as well. Any evictions or skips of other apartment communities would also disqualify you. So those are the three main ways in which we screen our residents. And everybody who meets those screenings is more than welcome to be a resident of our community. And last, split air. We haven't researched that tremendously. This is set up as a boiler system, just hot water boilers that provide the heat, so there's no ductwork in any of the apartments. And there are, as you noted, the sleeves for HVAC. So I will look at it and get a price on it, but I can't commit to definitely changing the whole HVAC system around on a 717 unit property. But I duly noted the concern of having a more sophisticated air conditioning system.
Okay, I think we have all the comments. Okay, we are going
Thank
to
you.
vote on, I'll do the summary. The Community and Economic Development Department recommends the City Council to open, we did the public hearing. We're voting to establish the district, which is an obsolete property rehabilitation act district. This will make it possible upon application for us to grant a obsolete property tax to replace our normal tax structure with the units for the amount that it's going into the improvements and betterments. We can essentially freeze those taxes for a period of up to 12 years. We can grant a period of anywhere from 1 to 12 years. It is renewable, reapplicable within the 12 years, and that's going to depend on the proposal and our discussions leading up to that at that time. At this point, we are only approving the establishment of an obsolete property district, and I call for a voice vote. Did we, wait a minute, did we have a motion on the floor? We did not have a motion. I'm sorry. We need a motion to be able to get this.
So moved.
Okay. Okay, I'm supposed to ask for more comments, but I think I got those. Please have a voice vote. City Clerk, call the rolls, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine,
Yes.
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Okay, that item passes. We have a second public hearing. Let me just make sure we get the right number. Okay, a second public hearing that we're going to open up. This is the acceptance of the 2015 Byrne Memorial Justice Grant in the amount of $12,189 for the purchase of computers and printers for the Public Safety Administration and the Detective Bureau. Would Director Cooper like to come up and speak to that? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. The reason we're here today, in reference to the hearing, is the Public Safety Department is requesting to purchase 11 Dell computers and 3 HP printers. The current printers throughout the Public Safety Department are obsolete and can no longer be updated or supported. The current computers are more susceptible to viruses, and they are not compatible with the city's new BSNA database system. The total cost for the 11 computers are $10,345.50. Each computer is $940.50. The total cost for the 3 HP printers will be $2,601, and they are ringing in at $867 each, giving us a grand total of $12,946.50. The net balance owed after applying the grant funding would be $757.50. And at the appropriate time, I would ask that council accept the Edward Burns Justice Assistance Grant, utilizing the funding to purchase the 11 Dell computers and the 3 HP printers for the Public Safety Department.
Thank you, Director Cooper. Do I have a motion to authorize the acceptance of the Edward Burns Justice Assistance Grant and to utilize the funding to purchase? Pardon? Oh, I'm sorry, public hearing first. Does anyone in the audience want to speak to the acceptance of this grant? I open public hearing.
Yes. They need to have whatever they want.
Okay, come on up and identify you.
All the time, and if they need computers, they need to get computers.
Thank you.
And I think everybody in here would agree with me. If you agree with me, just say yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, for the record, please identify yourself, and for the record, just identify yourself. And
Identify myself.
yeah, your name.
If y'all don't know me by now.
I do.
Beverly Miller, 13231 Oak Park Boulevard. I've been out in this 1971, and I know what we need. And we need them, because they will come out for whatever you need. Police, EMS, and the fire department. They do 3 jobs. And so we need them, and they need to get communications correct, so give them whatever they want.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. At this time, I call for a motion to authorize the acceptance of the Edward Burns Justice Assistance Grant and utilize the funding to purchase the 11 Dell computers and 3 HP printers for public safety.
So moved.
Second.
And this is a voice vote. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes. The motion passes. We move on to special licenses. We have a request for, submitted by Renee Herman for, of 13710 Borgman for an annual block party to be held on August 8th, 2015. You'll check there, aside from periodic normal patrol checks and drop-off and pickup of barricades for the event, there's no cost incurred to the city. And we're being asked to approve this annual event and waive the $100 special event fee. With the note from Renee Herman that we have some older people and some single-parent families, homes, it would create a hardship for them to pitch in towards that. Thank you for your consideration. And it is a resident annual event. Do we have a motion to approve the special event license request and to waive the $100 fee? Do we have a motion first?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, and discussions?
Yeah, my only question, well, in the past, we've waived the fee for events that are open to the public. This one, it says will event be open to the public, yes and no, so I'm not sure. Is it open to the public? If it is, then yes, I'm in support of waiving the fee, but if it is not, then no, I'm not in support of waiving the fee.
Okay.
Councilmember Burns, the description right below that, I took that to mean they meant no, because it says It is meant for our block only, exclamation point. So, I would say no to that.
Okay, thank you.
And then one more thing, if I could, the other thing is, and this is something else that in the past, and the policy seems to be all over the place, but in the past, the policy that we've established for block parties has been to waive the fees regardless of whether they're open to the public or not.
And if you look at the next one, it
Nelson?
says yes.
Yes.
The next one's on the Phillips, but then it says only those on Nadine. So
Yeah,
you figure it out. So let's just go and
okay, Councilman Sogson, you've been here the longest, your recollection?
we have
generally
waived the
approved
fees
these?
for block parties in the past. That is the precedent for as far back as I can remember.
Okay, so this is a practice that is longstanding to support the block parties and to encourage them. With that, we need to take a vote. All in favor of accepting the special event license and waiving the $100 fee for the Borgman Street Block Party?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Similar application, this one's for Mark Phillips of 13670 Nadine for a block party for the residents on Nadine again. It's similar in scope. The only requests that the city has is that we'll periodically check with our normal patrols to make sure things are okay and drop off and pick up barricades. And again, we are being asked to approve the block party and waive the $100 fee. Do we have a motion to accept this application for a special event license and to waive the $100 fee?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The third, this is from the Book Beat on Greenfield, and this was a request from Colleen and Carrie Lauren, the owners of the Book Beat, for their annual Blue Moon Book Sale and celebration of music, authors, and activity, a book club meeting, read-alouds, and their plan to rent a tent with a topper to hold some of the event. This is an annual event for the community sponsored by BookBeat. On this, we are being asked to accept their application for the special event license, and they are paying the $100 fee for the event. As far as the city and our expenses, normal patrols to periodically check the area. Our technical planning area will inspect the tent for flame retardant certification and for proper egress of the proposed tents. So that's a $60 building permit fee for the tent required inspection. If I'm not mistaken, that's in addition to the $100 fee, or is that rolled in?
Mayor Pro Tem, I don't think Rob is here, Dave is here, but.
Dave is here?
Dave, go ahead.
It is in addition to the special event license.
Okay, and they've agreed to pay for that fee as well?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Do we have a motion to approve the special event license for BookBeat?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The proposed event will be Friday, July 31st. Mark your calendars, everyone. It's always a good event. The fourth of the special license requests is a request for the Summerfest special event license. This is a request for the beer tent that's submitted by Camp Casey for a beer and wine tent to operate in conjunction with Summerfest on August 8th, 2015. And they are requesting that the application fee and city services costs be waived. The application fee that we charge whenever there's a special event involving alcohol in the city is, I believe, $100. And that's anybody from the churches and synagogues to Forgotten Harvest and everybody else who has events that they might be serving alcohol at. In addition, we have a $60 building permit fee to inspect the tent, similar to what we just talked about for fire safety. The public safety is providing plans to provide 5 officers to be able to control the beer tent on Saturday, August 8th from 12 noon till 10 p.m. at a cost, estimated hours, 10 hours, $3,000. And the DPW is asking for a $600 cost of preparing the area, including snow fencing, installation, and generators, and also the cleanup. So all in total, there's a $100 fee for the one-day special event license for serving alcohol, and city fees to be able to accommodate the beer tent of $3,660. I don't know if there's also a fee being paid to the for the space, like our vendors with tables pay for their 8-foot table at the events. No? Okay. But we're being requested to approve the event license and the waiver of all those fees. Do I have a motion to do that?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I'm opening this up for discussion.
The city is not in the business of taking taxpayers' money and losing them, or using them for these types of events. I mean, whatever it is, I'd be against anything where the city does not break even. If we want to, city can't break even, then there's no sense in having it. Unless somebody can make a good case for, you're more than welcome. I'm listening to people make the case where, why we should spend taxpayer dollars on this.
Yes, we have Molly Reeser here from Camp Casey.
Okay.
If she'd like to come up.
Can you hear from Councilwoman Burns first and then get all of our...
No, I'm-
You want to wait? Okay.
I'm on.
Okay. I guess we're introducing, I didn't catch the name.
Yes,
from
this is Molly Reeser.
Hi.
Molly?
I'm Molly Reeser. I am the director of Camp Casey. We are a nonprofit horseback riding program for children with cancer. We are local. We are located in Royal Oak, but we serve families in this community and throughout Southeast Michigan. In fact, all throughout Michigan. Our program is 100% free. We do have a small staff, but we are primarily volunteer-based. We are really excited about bringing our program and our volunteer efforts to the Oak Park Summerfest. Completely understand if it's, if we can't do this completely at no cost. We understand if we'll have to pay the $100 fee, but we thought that we would try to make this a charitable event. 100% of the proceeds from the sales will be going to serve children with cancer in this area.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We have additional comments.
I'm gonna,
We have
I
our
got
city
this.
manager would like to direct us.
council members, couple of things here, and I understand, Kim, if you could confirm, they've now applied for the license to operate that day with a liquor license, and they've received approval from the state, is that correct?
No, they sent the application to our Public Safety Department for their initial approval.
Okay.
They will send it to the state tomorrow.
Okay, upon the approval tonight, if it gets approved tonight.
Correct.
Couple of things, council members. This is, our Summerfest is, I don't have to tell you guys, one of our 2 really big events. We have not budgeted for Summerfest, and we should. And I would just mention that the services on the back that you see, and obviously the public safety services are the lion's share of those services. These are services in addition to what is being provided at no cost to the city already, meaning they've already have security, they already have the everything met that would, rise to the level in other communities where they've had a tent like this. These are in addition to that. So we've said, we think that it is going to be approximately 5 officers at that particular time that will have to be here in addition to the security staff, and I believe officers we may already have on shift as part of their regular duties, correct? Yes, please.
Director Cooper will address the public safety needs of this event.
Right. City manager is correct. We are allocating 5 officers specifically for the beer tent event and the Summerfest. And we will have patrol staff that will be doing our normal patrols throughout the city that will also, when available and during free times, we'll be checking in periodically on the event. But we wanted to have the 5 officers specifically designated for the beer tent for I believe it's August the 8th.
And Director, they would be stationed in the tent, around the tent,
No,
or?
we would not be actually inside the tent, because my understanding is that the nonprofit has, I believe, 4 security officers. I believe they're unarmed, but they're a private security company that would actually do things as far as man the tent, check identifications, make sure that the rules are being allocated. However, it is on city property. It's ultimately our responsibility. So we want to be obviously safe than sorry. And depending, obviously, this would be our first one as well. So we would make an evaluation or assessment after this event, depending on, how successful it is, and potentially may be able to adjust numbers, but that would,
Sure.
I'm not comfortable at this point with going below the 5. And I adjusted those numbers based on the fact that they actually had 4 of their own security officers that are going to be manning the interior of the tent. Initially, I was looking at potentially eight officers, but dropped that down to 5.
So, Kim, the total budget, and council members, you have the Summerfest income and expense statement here in your packet, but the total budget is what? 9,200, is that what I'm reading?
Yeah, that's where we're at right
And that's
now.
been privately fundraised?
Yes, yeah, we've done that all through sponsorship dollars.
Okay. So, council members, certainly, we will do what you would like us to do, but my only point is, I would hate to see us make a decision based on our out-of-pocket when we have all of these new people coming to our community and such a great nonprofit working with our Summerfest Arts and Culture Commission as well. I'm not worried about the $4,000. I think that's well worth it. And the director mentioned he would adjust, and he and I will discuss that matter, adjust as necessary. But I have every reason to believe, first, our residents are safe, which is our top priority. But second, and very important, is that we can handle the 4,000 additional, especially given that 9,200 of it has been privately donated for the purposes of this great festival.
Okay. Councilwoman Burns.
My only comment is I'm very impressed with the funds that were raised for this event.
Thank you.
Thank you for your great work.
A lot of good volunteers too that helped.
I know they did. I know you did a good job yourself, so thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to say that I'm very impressed by all the work that's going into Summerfest. I think that it's going to be marvelous, and waiting for another 18 days of anticipation until everything just booms here. I have concerns about how we're doing this with this particular tent. I've worked with the Independence Day programs for a number of years in the city. Every one of our tables, as I believe every table that you've got there, has a charge for an 8-foot by 8-foot area. Am I correct?
Yeah, and I understand your concern.
Well, no, it's not a
okay.
concern. I'm saying, well, we do the same thing. It's a charge, and that charge goes to help to defray expenses. So what we're basically saying is we're not charging anything for the beer tent.
Yeah.
They get their beer and wine license from the state. They pay $100, but they don't pay anything for the space that they're, and their presence there as a fundraiser. I mean, that's kind of unprecedented.
They are absorbing some of the costs. There is a high risk to this event this year. This is a brand new thing in our community, having a beer tent, and they're absorbing the risk of if they're not going to be able to even break even on it, to be honest with you, because they're going to have expenses with, buying all the supplies for running the beer tent, and if they don't sell enough beer to cover their expenses, they could essentially lose money. So the first year, we wanted to at least give an incentive to whatever nonprofit it was that we were able to secure doing the beer tent with for this event, so we can offer this new experience in our community. But in addition, to attract that type of person and nonprofit, there has to be some sort of incentive. We have to at least either incentivize them to break even more potentially than charging them.
And there has been a precedent for helping to keep a nonprofit from losing money on an event, and that's been done in the past with Independence Day. If we got rained out, if there was something that created a problem where they were losing money on their table and on their investment, that the city was willing to make sure that they would not lose money. But in terms of waiving fees, we've never done that. And that's something that might be considered as some type of assurance that this booth, if for any reason, because it's a nonprofit and it serves people that could potentially be people from our community, that we would look after them to make sure that they do not have the risk of losing money being out there. I prefer to see us plan on doing something like that to make sure that they don't lose money, but not set a precedent where we're not charging anybody to have a setup in the park, because that's just something that doesn't, really meet any of our prior policy, and sets a precedent that, do we pick and choose who gets it free and who doesn't get it free next year? It's not always a good thing to try to do something that's nice, but in the long run, you're going to wind up having a problem created from it, even next year when one group wants to have something done without any fees, and everybody's pointing their fingers at this one. So as I said, my personal preference would be to something to be able to be prepared to subsidize any losses and make sure that this event comes off for them without a loss to their budget. And that is something that has been done in the past. Are there any other comments or?
At the very end, you got to my primary concern, and that is the precedential nature of this. Now, I am willing to go along with this because I'm looking at the city manager and the director of economic development, and if they think this is good for the city, I'm willing to go along with it, but I think I'd like to have something added to the motion to show that this is not precedential. We're going to see how this works and see how it works for the city, so that we don't come back and somebody saying, well, you didn't charge them, you're not going to charge us. We're trying this out. We're going to try it once. We're going to see how it works. And then in the future, the next event comes up, we can decide if this was a good idea or a bad idea. Okay, that way the city, we'll keep it as it is and just try it once.
Would you like to put that in the form of a motion to amend?
Everything there,
amend the
except that
motion?
this will not be a precedent or used as precedent for any other nonprofit. That this action is something that the city is going to try once and see how it works.
Okay. Do we have a second?
The city attorney can put that into a motion.
Maybe a city attorney can help with this.
I just wanted to make the comment, I completely agree, Councilman Seligson, that it's not that it's setting a precedent, but as the director stated, is more of an incentive for this particular event. We do not have any history or historical reference to determine whether this is appropriate or whether there will be a break even. So if that is amended in the motion, I think that's appropriate.
Sounds good to me.
I support.
All in favor of the amendment to state in this motion that this is not to create any precedent, this is on a trial basis for this year?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye? Okay. And with that, we're going to vote on the motion to, I believe the motion, the request was to waive all fees with the exception of the fee for the one-day special event license, that would still hold. Am I correct?
Support.
Okay. Is this a money thing? Because we are expending public dollars for this beer tent. It has to be a roll call vote.
Is that a motion?
The motion is.
I have the motion is to waive all the fees.
All fees, including the fee for the special event liquor license.
Well, that's
Okay.
not,
That's not the motion.
that wasn't
That's not the
included,
motion.
no.
Is that included in the fee,
No.
in
No.
the motion?
Just to waive the fees for the actual event.
Okay.
All we added to the motion was that this was not to be precedential.
Okay.
That's it.
So with that, this is the waiving of the technical planning building permit fee, public safety officer fee, and the DPW preparation and cleanup fee.
Correct.
Okay. We'll have a roll call vote.
Councilmember Burns,
Absolutely, yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine,
No.
and Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. And we're at item 11, accounting reports. This is to approve the payment of an invoice submitted from Garen Lucal Miller, PC, for legal services in a total amount of $11,677.80. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Support?
And any discussion? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine,
Yes.
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Okay, our next item, city attorney will speak to the class action lawsuit regarding the 2014 rain event. Reading this off the item 14A? Oh, I'm sorry, 13A. We skipped one. Ordinances. This is the first reading of an ordinance to provide a service charge in lieu of taxes, a pilot program for a housing project known as the Jefferson Oaks. This is a development that is going to replace the school property from the Jefferson school site. And the motion would be to approve a first reading we'd have a public hearing next meeting to approve a service charge in lieu of taxes. It's a way of recouping taxes in a different way that helps to provide additional funds up front for the development of this property. Do we have a motion to accept the first reading of this ordinance?
So moved?
Second.
Okay, and this is not a public hearing since it's the first reading. We have a public hearing next meeting. Do any of the council members want to speak to this?
Not at this point.
Okay, and we have Director Maroney here to help with us as well. Would you like to give an overview?
Yes, we had a community meeting that was held by Community Housing Network Tuesday of last week at the community center, and there was a few residents that were there that had a few concerns. And the highlight of the concerns was, one, there was no notice by the Ferndale Public Schools for selling their property. Two, that they were worried about their property values declining. And then there would be a loss of green space, including the community garden. And those were the major highlights of that meeting. A lot of the residents left there with a better understanding of the project and who is actually selling the property. There was a misunderstanding prior to that meeting that a lot of people felt that it was the city of Oak Park selling the property. So now they do understand that it is Ferndale Public Schools. The alternative, if this project does not take place, is that Ferndale Schools does not have the funds to maintain the property, and that property will be boarded up and a fence will be placed around the property. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of options on the table. Ferndale Public Schools did review more than one proposal that was presented to them. One proposal was not that solid. Their plan was not that detailed for them to make a decision on, and this project was by far the best of the two, and brings a lot of new residents to our community, and I think would be a good asset to the community. I also was able to tour properties that their management group, Piper Management, manages, and toured a property that has been in existence for 15 years up in Mount Morris. It actually, I think you should have maybe received the pictures already. They maintain that property very well, and I talked to their property manager who does several of their properties, and they make sure that their tenant selection is good, that their tenants are pretty much put on notice when they get there that they need to follow the rules or they will be evicted. So they tend to offset any problems right from the get-go. I was very impressed by their property management team and the properties themselves. Yes, we have three. We have Kirsten Elliott, CJ Felton, and Al Martin. Okay.
Oh, my microphone's on. Sorry. Please come up and, these are members from the Community Housing Network, represented by CJ Felton and Kirsten Elliott, to give an overview of what is planned for the property for the public.
Hello, thank you very much for allowing us to speak tonight. I am Kirsten Elliott. I'm the Vice President of Development for Community Housing Network, and we are proposing a adaptive reuse of the school, which would house 20 units of 1- and 2-bedroom apartments in the school, and on the rest of the site, 40 townhomes that would be 3- and 4-bedroom townhomes. Site plans have been submitted with elevations, and I think you should have gotten the the bedroom floor plans. The site we would be having community space within the building, preserving within the school that would be able to be used for the public also. And any community that we work in development that we do, we work highly invested into the neighborhoods that we work with. And we provide community revitalization for block clubs, for neighborhood watches, and anything that the community would like to have, so that all of our residents are integrated fully into the community. Did you want to add anything?
Yes. Hi, my name is CJ Felton. I met several residents last week at the community meeting we held over at the community center. And I think Kim mentioned some of the concerns. The primary one that I heard was property values. And we presented some information that if a property is well managed and it's quality built housing, it has a neutral to positive effect on property values. And I understand some of the concerns. I actually, after that meeting, went and did some pretty detailed analysis of that neighborhood. And unlike many areas, that neighborhood has actually had 2 dips in property values. So I understand some of the fears, but what we are talking about doing is something that will add to the vibrancy of the neighborhood. And I think anywhere that we've seen properties that have to be boarded up and fenced off and situations where you have to get on people to cut the grass, and that's not going to be good for a neighborhood. And we think we provide a really solid alternative here.
Now, this is a $15 million investment in this area?
Yes.
$15 million. And gotta ask, does it include air conditioning?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, okay. But seriously, I think one of the things that just came up was green space. Is there green space planned into this project, or is this all going to be just an island of concrete in the middle of the area?
Yeah, absolutely. No, we are maintaining the 25-foot setbacks. We spoke with the city and the planning department, so it would be consistent with the neighborhood. All of the buildings would be facing outward towards the street. And then there would be lots of trees. And as I said, the school itself is maintained, so the school is staying. So all of the green space that's in front of the school, we will have 2 play or tot lots on the property also. There'll be a lot of trees.
Thank you. Well, we have a motion to accept the first reading on this incentive. Do we have any more comments before we go? We've got somebody here in the audience.
This is for moderate and to low-income housing. It's utilizing tax credits through the IRS. There will be some HUD funding in it, but the 100% of it is funded through the tax credits, and then there will be some HUD funding on, I think, 30% of the units.
Okay, if you have a number of questions, please introduce yourself. Come up and tell us your name.
We have a public hearing. If we do not have a public hearing, then we do not.
Okay, then we wait till the public hearing next meeting. Then I suppose this would be more proper. But I would like to have you be able to meet afterwards and
Absolutely.
be able to
be more
have a
than happy to
discussion.
speak with you afterwards.
That would be helpful and useful for preparation for next meeting. And we do have public comments. Thank you, Attorney Duff. At the end of our meeting, we do have we open up for public comments from the audience at the conclusion of this meeting. Do we have any other comments or questions from the council members?
No.
Okay. Then with that, we have a motion on the floor to accept the first reading of an ordinance to pass a payment in lieu of taxes, a pilot ordinance for Jefferson Oaks. We need a roll call vote.
Councilmember Seligson,
Yes.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes. The motion passes. It will be on public hearing and second reading next meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming up. We have the city manager, city attorney's report. Now we got the city attorney's report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Council, this evening, I just wanted to provide you all with notice that the city was served on July 13th with a class action lawsuit. This lawsuit is in connection with the August 2014 flood event. I know we had some discussion last year. This is not a complete surprise. We knew it was coming. We have an answer due to the complaint on August 10th, which will be filed by your other city attorney, John Galuli. John is also handling, so you know, the city of Southgate and the city of Warren have also been sued by this same plaintiff attorney with the exact same allegations. It's our understanding this is somewhat of a test case through the 3 areas for this event. Of significant note, defendants in our case include the city of Oak Park, Oakland County, the George Kuhn Drainage District, and the Oakland County Water Resources Commissioner. The complaint is alleging negligence in the construction, maintenance, and operation of the sewer system, which unfortunately we are not responsible for any of those items directly. So again, I do not think there is significant exposure on the case, but I wanted you all to be aware of it. If you'd like to review the lawsuit, please let me know. You'll get reports as the proceedings proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no action that is required on this at this point?
No action
Okay.
required, just notice.
Thank you. We move on to items 15, city manager, item 15A.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Council members, the 15A is a request to essentially flip the 2 fees in the court, the building fund fee and the retiree healthcare fee. And this is part of our, believe it or not, our agreement with them, going all the way back to our budget proceedings. And I would just say this, that by flipping these 2 fees, we actually, the city that is, will actually be saving, I think, somewhere around $100,000 a year. Because the additional subsidy that we currently pay out of our general fund to offset the retiree healthcare liability exceeds what the revenue currently brings in. So this is a win-win. So now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Oak Park, Michigan approves and concurs in the revision of the fees assessed by the court on each ticket for a civil infraction and for serious and specified misdemeanors as follows. A, the fee assessed on each ticket for a civil infraction and for serious and specific misdemeanors to be deposited into the healthcare fund shall be $20. And B, the fee assessed on each ticket for a civil infraction and serious and specified misdemeanors to be deposited in the building fund shall be $15.
Okay. With that, it be resolved by the City Council of Oak Park that these revisions and amendments to fee assessments shall be effective as of July 1st, 2015. Do I have a motion to accept this resolution?
So moved?
Second.
We need a roll call vote for this, please.
Yep.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 15B.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. 15B, if I could call Director Maroney up. This is we were asked to participate in a TAP grant for a bicycle network project with the city of Ferndale, Pleasant Ridge, Hazel Park, and Huntington Woods and Royal Oak. Kim, could you just give us a couple details here?
Yes, Ferndale submitted a TAP grant called the Woodward Corridor Neighborhood Bicycle Network, and it's an effort to connect all of those communities with bike lanes or marked bike routes. And the city of Oak Park, their portion will be approximately 5.4 miles. It will go along Oak Park Boulevard to Church Street, looping back up all the way to Lincoln and then back over to Huntington Woods. So we will have 5.4 miles of new bicycle network that we will have marked with consistent wayfinding signage with all of those communities. And the outcome, we hope, will be that we'll be able to have an event every year that will promote bicycling within all of the communities and promote these networks.
Thank you. This doesn't require a vote. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. This, by the way, is not the last of our efforts to receive grant funding for a more extensive even bicycle network. We were asked You're probably wondering why this amount is so low. It's because we were asked to participate on an already existing grant application by the city of Ferndale and the other communities I mentioned. But again, we will continue to apply for these on our own and hopefully elevate this even higher than we already have. 15C, the DTE tree trimming project. I wanted to make sure this was on the agenda for our council members, but also our residents. I received a communication that DTE crews will be out from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday doing tree trimming. And if you see a tree with a white dot, that tree is slated for trimming. If you see a tree with a red ribbon, that tree is slated for removal. If you have questions or concerns about the work that is being done, please contact DTE at 313-235-4141. I'll also ask staff to provide a link to this information on the city's website.
Okay. Could we include that phone number on, when we rebroadcast, so that people watching this session can have that phone number? That is 313-235-4141 between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Unfortunately, the subcontractors that trim the trees for DTE have not had a good track record. They have done absolute butchery to people's backyards and even have neglected clearing branches that were necessary for the other DTE workers to come in to fix the wires at sometimes. And they have been sued by some other communities. I guess we're going to try and keep an eye on it, but we do need everybody's participation in this. We need eyes and ears for when they do this project to make sure that they are not coming in and doing this haphazardly with disregard to our property.
And Mayor Pro Tem, if I could just add one more thing to that. DTE has specified that the crews will remove all branches, limbs, and other debris created by this work unless you indicate that you would like it to remain on your property. So please contact DTE if you have those concerns and you see a white dot or a red ribbon around a tree in your yard.
Is there anybody here from DTE to speak to this? No. Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening.
We now open up the call to the audience. Each speaker's remarks are a matter of public record. The speaker alone is responsible for his or her comments, and the City of Oak Park does not, by permitting such remarks, support, endorse, or accept the content thereof as being true or accurate. Any person, while being heard at a city council meeting, may be called to order by the chair or by any of the council members for failure to be germane to the business of the city. Of course, any vulgarity, personal attacks of persons and institutions is not permitted, and there's a 3-minute time limit per speaker for your comments. Please introduce yourself with your name and where you live.
I'm Harold Tufel. I've lived in Oak Park since November of 1958. I wanted to talk to the Mayor Pro Tem and Council. I'm wondering what is to be done with the property on the south side of Woodside. It's been a thorn in the neighborhood side for years. The previous owner passed away 3 years ago, and nothing has been done to the property except to remove or to clean up the house after his death. The property is literally a jungle. Fallen trees, underbrush, wild animals growing in the back. You can hardly see the houses. There's 2 houses, 2 garages, 2 houses, and several vacant lots. Well, it consists of four 40-foot wide lots that are run about 150 feet back. We're wondering why this can't be cleaned up and put on on their taxes, and when they finally dispose of the property, or if it's been disposed, I don't know, because every time we've asked about it, they say it's in probate. It's in probate. Well, that 3 years of in probate is coming to a screeching halt. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood is getting just a little ticked. The fellow that lived there was a nature lover and a hermit. He didn't want to talk to anybody. Go away. Don't ring my doorbell. Go away. So this, and when the paving was put through a few years ago, he was at the head of the list. He didn't want no part of paving. All they're gonna do was race down the street was his feeling to it.
Thank you,
So,
Mr.
that's-
Tickle.
I'd like to get some answers of what's gonna be done in the near future, or can they clean up that lot? I mean, I know the backyard is questionable, but that's, the back is, the front of the house is as bad as the woods.
Thank you, Mr.
behind
Tupple. We hear your concern. I think our city manager would like to address this.
Sir, right behind you, Dave DeCoster is our deputy director of the departments that handle that kind of an issue. Would you be so kind to speak with him? And then
Okay.
Dave, we can reconvene after, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you
enough.
for bringing that to our attention. Continue our call to audience. Your name, please, and where you live.
Hello, I'm gonna try to make it fast.
Okay.
So, I'm Veronica, I'm a resident of Troy Street, and, so council and everyone, I'm just gonna read this. I'm here to voice my concerns about the Jefferson Oaks, development. So I'm gonna start off with a couple of things here. In Oak Park, 44% of the households are owned by families that make $40,000 or less, and which is the maximum amount that you need to live in one of these housing units. And if you go to real estate page, you can probably see there are thousands or hundreds of houses at least that are under 100,000, which means if you got a mortgage, you can own your own house with taxes and mortgage for probably around $700, even if you needed mortgage insurance, right? As compared to the rent that they're gonna charge in these units, which is $1,100. My mortgage isn't even that. So I know it's just something to think about. And is it really affordable? In the Oak Park City Master Plan, it states, in order to maintain Oak Park's present identity as a family city, it is important to encourage the home ownership. Owner occupancy instills pride and upkeep in the structure, implies commitment to the community, and promotes a family atmosphere. Home ownership can be encouraged by improving all aspects of Oak Park community, creating an attractive city that interests new homeowners. That's in your master plan. At the meeting with the Community Housing Network, as Kim said, people expressed they're concerned about losing the green space where the school currently is. And for the people who live around there, they know it as Ferndale, Oak Park, and Royal Oak Township families, children, adults, and gardeners have been using this green space for years. And it's a space that adds to our quality of life. And this concern was brought up, and what they said was, well, there's going to be 2 playscapes, and there's green space in front. I don't know anybody who plays in someone else's front yard, frankly. And you can't play football, baseball, run with your dog, or have a community garden in someone else's backyard. As a homeowner and a taxpayer, I kind of see it this way. If you want to build in our community and you're asking us for a payment in lieu of, that makes us partners. We're partners. So you have a responsibility to me as a homeowner to have some kind of compromise. And this is going to be 18 years, right? This payment in lieu of is 18 years. Think about that for a second. According to the city's community assessment plan in 2012, just under city services and residents' priorities were parks, recreation programs for youth, and they strongly agreed that tax dollars should go towards community gardens. This is your plan. This was your assessment. To be clear, I am not against development. However, I believe that this development is not a right fit for this community. I believe it needs to be mixed use, like work-live. It needs to cover the economic scale. I think it should cover all walks of life, and it should include green space. You are looking to improve, I am this much way. You're looking to improve the city through your corridor improvement plan, right? In the city's economic development plan, you have cited that citizens have expressed a need for diversity retail offerings and the desire to have public art. This development could be so much more. It could cover all of that. Imagine the low-income incubator where entrepreneurs, artists can work and live. they can be residents and start their own businesses and become successful beyond an incubator, and then,
Okay, I believe you're going over your 3-minute limit. I'm
okay,
sorry.
okay, I guess I should say this. I think that
Done.
wait a minute, hang on.
Thank you.
I really think that the
Sharing
city
section is not part
should
of this
explore.
either.
I really think the city should explore a bond or a millage and bring it to the community to have some input. The community needs to have input. Who is protecting our quality of life? Are you? Are you? Ask yourself that.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Ms.
Not
Veronica,
interested.
what was your last name?
Lujic.
Ludin? Okay, thank you. We have our next speaker. Please approach and give your name and address.
Thank you. I'm Chris Ambler. I'm a resident of Oak Park as well. I've lived in Oak Park for about 9 years now. I live about a block and a half from this proposed Jefferson Oaks project. I was at the community meeting. That was last Tuesday. I received a flyer in my door 2 days, the Friday prior to that, as many of the residents within a 2-block radius, I believe it was, might be a little further. I don't know exactly how far they reached out. That was the first I heard of this project. They said it's going to add diversity. We already live in a very diverse, one of the reasons I moved here was that it is a very diverse community already. I don't see that this is an asset to our community, but a liability. I think I don't even know if there's been traffic assessments done, the increased traffic that's going to happen on Republic Street because of this. They have a proposed entrance through Leroy and Saratoga. There's residence homes in there. If you're going to increase the amount that's going into those side streets, that's a danger to children that play on those streets right now. I don't know, again, if it's been proposed already or if that's just their business model. There was a very spirited debate about that at the meeting, as was said. There were some things that were certainly omitted. I was informed at that meeting that there wasn't HUD funded, and I just heard tonight that it is. That could be wrong, but I never heard that, and I think someone asked you directly that if it was HUD supported, and I believe your answer to that was no. There's nothing that you've provided with me to prove that this is good for our community. We are diverse, and while the property may get boarded up, there are other options available that we should look at. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have another speaker. Please approach, give your name and address.
My name is Scott Baltus. I live at 8510 Saratoga, which is the house that's going to be facing this new project, the Jefferson Oaks project. I'm going to go a little different way because it wasn't talked about. I wasn't at the first meeting, my wife was, but one of the concerns I had, and that's to the city, is that this is possibly 200 to 250 new residents, and nothing's been talked about public safety. Unfortunately, and I have some people here that know this, I have been pretty much policing that street. We very rarely see police officers come down that street because it's one of the farthest points in Oak Park. This project will be one of the farthest points in Oak Park. So I want to know what you guys are going to do about increasing police in that area, or what I was told the night that I actually caught someone breaking into cars on our block. The 3 police officers that came to my house that night said that they were the only 3 on duty that evening. Now, I don't know if that's true. You have police officers here that can tell me that, but to me, three squad cars to police a whole area of Oak Park, now adding 253 new residents with 60 new facilities to live in. I just want some answers. I've been living in Oak Park for 45 years. My family has been living here for 80. Yesterday was the first time I talked to a real estate agent about selling my house. I don't want to do that. I love this community. I've been a coach at Berkeley High School for 12 years. I've been a coach in Oak Park community for longer than that. My kids have grown up in Oak Park. I love this community. And I don't want it to change like that. I mean, like I said, I understand why, but we need to ask these questions to you and to see the safety. Like you said, safety. I have 15 police reports with the city of Oak Park of cars broken into, houses on my block been broken into. This is going to add to that. And if the police officer's going to tell me that's not going to add to that, I'd like to see their reports on telling us how it's not going to change that. You can talk to every parent that's going to be a new homeowner in that area, but you can't go through the 150 kids and screen every 150 children that are going to be in that area and see what that's going to bring to that area. So please do your research, because I do not want to leave my house. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boltis. Next speaker, please identify yourself and your address.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Oscar Horrid. I live at 8630 Troy Street. And next month will be 1 year for me as a resident here at Oak Park. I moved in just before the flood, and despite that terrible omen, it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. I love this city, and two things brought me to that space, where I chose to live. The best Thai food I've ever tried is a block away, and that green space, there, Jefferson. That's been a huge boon for me. We just got a dog 2 months ago, and she loves that space. We love it, and that's a massive source of quality of life for us. I did not hear about this project until Veronica was in the neighborhood, and letting people know about about this. And I chose to come here because I had no avenue for getting details. I do want to have some questions, which I mentioned maybe council covered it in the previous meeting regarding the timeline. Presumably, I also want to urge you and the council to consider that the choice of either this project or gating up and letting the property go to ruin is a bifurcation. There are other options. Consider them. I, for one, would be willing to pitch in if there were a motion made to buy the property and have it belong to Oak Park. Take it. We feel like we own that property. If we actually were to do so, I'd be all for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Please identify yourself and your address.
Hello, my name is Aaron Tobin. I live on Balfour in Oak Park, longtime resident. And I just came to tell everybody, you might have seen these cards up. We have a Oak Park slow roll bike ride. We've been doing it 6 weeks already. We have over 250 members on our Facebook page. Everybody in Oak Park and the surrounding areas are invited to join us 6:30 every Tuesday night. We meet right next door at the library, and we leave at 7 o'clock. We had approximately 60 people with us last week. We will not get rained on this week. And it is a wonderful time. You come out, you meet your neighbors, you get some exercise, you get out from behind your computer and Facebook, you out from your couch and watching TV. You see our beautiful city up front and personal on a bike. And I would like to thank Mayor Pro Tem Paul Levine, because he has helped plan our routes. He's an avid bike rider. And we've been asking for bike routes. I've been a big advocate for bike routes for years in Oak Park. I'm glad that they're participating and finding some funds with Ferndale and surrounding cities. Hopefully there'll be more, but I'm really here to encourage everybody to come on the Oak Park Slow Roll. You can find our routes and our group on Facebook, Oak Park Slow Roll. And we have a great time. Please come and join us every Tuesday night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get your sunblock on. We have a few more people there. Please approach and give your name and your address, please.
Hello, I'm Ron Hardy, president of the Optimist Club,
Thank you, Ron.
Oak Park, Royal Oak. I was up here before at the wrong time. But I'm here to introduce the Optimist Club to the council and to the community. My address is 25410 Woodvilla Place, Southfield. Listening to the passion of these members of this community, I kind of wish I might want to move over here. But we are unveiling the Optimist Club. Member here in this Optimist Club of Oak Park for about 8 years. I'm now the president, and we find that many of the members of the community do not know that the Optimist Club exists. We are a nonprofit organization. We are a youth-oriented organization. Our sole purpose is to provide service for youth. It is said that each one of us provides service to about 35 kids. We have over 100,000 members in the Optimist Club, and yet we are an unknown entity. We're in 13 different countries in every state in the United States. We're only second to the Boy Scouts of America in numbers. So I'm asking for your support of the Optimist Club. Sometimes that comes across your desk are requests for waiver of fees, And I just want to put a face and a voice with the Optimist Club so you know who we are and what we do. What some of the things that we do, we have an upcoming picnic back to school that we provide free. No project that we do for kids costs them anything. We do not discriminate on the basis of age except for health or safety reasons. Any kid is welcome to any project that we do. We have oratorical, essay, public safety. We do dance program. We have had a basketball team in this community for the last 8 years. The mayor and the public safety director works very often in close contact with us, and they often participate in our events. So I just want to let you know that we are here in your community. I do have flyers, and I do have applications for our Optimist Club. My name is Ron Hardy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just a comment, if we do not have a link to the Optimist Club on our website, we should have that up there. And I'd like to propose that we do that, add that as a link to the Optimist Club from our website. Thanks, please.
My name is Jessica Gualdoni. I live on Troy Street in Oak Park. My family's been in Oak Park for 66 years. And I think some of the people here already spoke about my concerns for Jefferson Oaks. I think we were all surprised. Here we are thinking that finally our property values are going up and things are going along okay. We've got the beautiful green space over there. The kids play in the wintertime and the summer. And a lot of us have been dealing with the bus noise for years, but I understand that's a necessary evil because of the buses. And we're just all concerned about the traffic. With the additional people there, we've had some sporadic crime in our neighborhood, and I'm afraid that having 250 more people moving in there is just going to raise the crime level more. I mean, maybe not, I hope not, but my biggest question is, and I'm hoping that the members of council and the city manager can answer this, since you've had the first reading tonight for the taxes and stuff, does this mean that this is already a done deal so that no matter what our concerns are, that's over? So, okay, so there's still a chance that something else could be done with the space. Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other speakers? We have somebody else who wants to speak, please. Your name and
I'm going to speak quickly. I am a resident of Ferndale.
Okay. Your name,
I would
please?
like to make the point that your minutes.
Your name, please?
I'm Sharon Gibson. I'm a resident of Ferndale, 1557 West Saratoga. I've lived there for 12 years. The residents in my area of Ferndale were notified of the meeting for Jefferson Oaks approximately 3 days before it happened. So we were completely uninformed, and I had never received any notice of the school selling the property. I would like to say, though, that this was on the Oak Park website as of Thursday night, I believe, and then it was removed. I would like to make a point that if you're going to have public notices, they need to remain up. I was unable to inform any of my fellow residents on Saratoga about any of this information. I've had to make copies myself and hand deliver them. This is unacceptable for a city government to take down a notice as important as this and deny residents to read it.
Do we have anybody else who wishes to speak tonight? Okay. I cannot address the website, but we'll address all these comments at the conclusion of the call.
Can I just make one more?
Let's wait till the conclusion.
To your comment about Detroit Edison, as a resident of Ferndale, they came through my neighborhood. I had to hand haul out logs that big from my backyard, so please be careful.
Yeah.
Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. And we have Don Sketch. Thank you.
Yes, I understand all of these concerns, but mine is a bit lighter. I'm Dawn Sketch, 24141 Clover Lawn here in Oak Park. A couple of things. One, my husband and I, we just did a photo golf outing that is to raise funds for scholarships for the Women in Defense Now, this organization is sort of in Metro Detroit, sort of in Macomb County, but they want to spread the word that there are scholarships available for senior girls. This is for women. There are also scholarships available for young ladies who are going on to college and beyond. And if you would like more information, please go to the WID Michigan website, which is www.wid-mi.org. Next, as many of you know, I'm with the Oak Park Arts and Cultural Commission, and I also help out with the Summerfest. We have some posters that are going to be out and about in our neighborhoods coming up this week. If anybody would like to volunteer, please contact the city, Kim Maroney, so that you can pick up some flyers. We would like these dispersed throughout Oak Park, Ferndale, Berkeley, Birmingham, and everywhere else. And everybody is welcome to come to the Oak Park Summerfest, August 8th and 9th. As you found out, thank you very much, City Council, for allowing Camp Casey to support us and support their organization with the beer tent on August 8th, which is part of our Summerfest. Also, our Thursday events are going on in Shepherd Park this upcoming Thursday in a couple of days, 7 o'clock at Shelter 1. We are going to have Clark, the amazing Clark, magician and puppeteer, and then next Thursday is a Motown review. And thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers? There's one more person who should speak here. Please identify yourself.
Hello, my name is David Gavlik. I live at 23120 Geneva Street. And I've been noticing an increase in wild animals, possums, skunks, raccoons, and now turkey vultures. Now, I am curious about the status of the Animal Control Department, because when I call, they say they only pick up roadkill. Is that true?
Well, I believe that they do not euthanize animals. They will come if the animal is on your property that has died. They will pick up the animal.
Yeah, it has to be dead.
Yes.
You can't trap it?
And that goes back to the DNR and Department of Natural Resources and what we're allowed to do.
So we just have to depend on the turkey
Identify what
vultures?
we are able to do to help.
Let me, if I could, just, the increase in animals around the city is, there probably is some tie to the construction project that is happening down at the Armory site at 8 in Greenfield. If you have questions, though, specifically, our deputy director is sitting right behind you, and I would urge you to talk to him before you leave tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, with that, I close the call to audience. I want to just comment on a couple things. I appreciate Ron Harding coming out to talk about the Optimist Club. I grew up here in Oak Park, and we had the Optimist Club at that time giving us all T-shirts to wear as Little League baseball players for all the younger children, the children in the T-ball leagues. So I grew up with an Optimist Club name on my back and very prominent throughout the city. And I do appreciate your coming. I hope that we can encourage more membership and more support for the Optimist Club. Bike rides every Tuesday night, great thing to get out there for. 18 days till we have our event with Summerfest. We're all in anticipation. There's a good buzz going out for it. A lot of people are talking about it on social media, and I think we're going to have a wonderful event. I don't know much about WIDMISH or the organization, but I am going to go to the website, wid-mi.org, to look it up. I'd like to learn more about what the organization does and definitely to help support scholarships for young women. With that, I appreciate everybody who's come out to speak about the Jefferson Oaks project. You've put a face on the people in the neighborhood. You've given us a lot of good feedback, things to talk about. As far as the community meeting, the City of Oak Park was not part of it or even included in the community meeting. We learned about it the same way you did. So it's not like there's a partnership going on here. Our role in this is somewhat limited. The property was sold from the school district to an organization. Legally, I don't really know how much control we have over the way this gets built or what gets built on that property. We can certainly look into any potential legal guidance that we can have as far as helping them with their project, but we can't, you know, I think the project's going to go whether we defer the taxes and collect them over a longer period of time or not. Okay. Well, these are all issues that we have to look into. At this point, we have a sale that's already been commenced, I believe, between the schools and this organization. I'm not going to take any more comments right now. Please stay after. We can talk some more. City Manager Tungate may have some more additional comments about this.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I really don't. I just wanted to stress that this is not, I think this is being confused with a city situation. The city did not sell this property. It's not city property to sell. Your comments will be taken seriously. And if you have additional comments, feel free to send those to my office, and I'd be happy to share them with city council members at the next meeting. This is a first leg in an ordinance approval process, so this is the first reading. There is a second reading and then a subsequent approval if it gets to that point, but please make your position known. The city was not included in the sale of this property. I was not aware of it. If there's other things to be added, please do so. That's all I have.
Thank you. With that, call to council. Begin with our mayor, well, no longer Mayor Pro Tem, but soon to be retiring council member Sullivan.
Have a good night, everybody.
Councilwoman Carolyn Burns.
I just wanted to thank everyone for coming out, and I also wanted to mention that the Arts and Cultural Commission have done a wonderful job with the Thursday series in the park. I had the wonderful opportunity to attend last Thursday's jazz concert. There was well over 200 residents that attended the event. It was wonderful. I encourage you please to come out and take part in this wonderful free event for the city. It's a great evening for the family, for the children, and for yourself if you just want to relax and sit back and listen to some great music.
Right. And with that, the event is coming up in two weeks from next Saturday. It'll be a Saturday and Sunday event, and there's a lot on the internet. There's a lot on our website about it. There's a lot of signs that are going to be going up, and some wonderful people that are volunteering a lot of time to make this what I hope to be a very strong success and a big future event that in the future hope we can make this even more of an event that can bring in our business community and our central business district and involve our development efforts. I appreciate everybody for coming out tonight, everybody who's watching on our broadcast and rebroadcast. Thank you all. Have a good night.